Bill and Tamara Ryan, we live here in Thornton, Colorado. Our car is a GT40 continuation series. It's P2183 in the registry. It's a super performance chassis that Alan Peterson and Kim Peterson at Pathfinder Motors acquired, and then they did some adjustments on it to bring it closer to a vintage style. Subsequently from there, the car was sent to Lee Holman at Holman Moody. Lee did the dash on the car, the instruments on the car. They changed the cam and the engine. It's one of only 2 Saphir licensed continuations in the world that are done with the Mark II-B dash, the Bravo dash. The other one is the little brother of the car that Kim and Alan did also at Pathfinder Motors. Jim Rose, who built GT40 XGT2 number 7. That's the same number 7 car with number 7 looking car with the black hood on it. He helped build that car back in '66. He did the suspension work on our car. So it's very special to us that Holman Moody has worked on the car, and then to have somebody who built one of the original GT40s has also worked on the car. It's an iconic car. It's, I mean, I'm one of the guys that had the Lamborghini Countach poster, and on my dorm room in college, and along with that car, I've always loved the GT40. And it's funny, you go through life and things speak to you, and in a sense, this car did at the right time, at the right place, and it's something we've always wanted since we've been part of the Shelby family from back in, we'll say probably 2012, I think, when we got our GT500, and I worked with several other folks in the Marine Corps, several other officers in the Marine Corps that had Shelbys, and having known the past history, it just one thing led to another and gravitated us to the car.
It was funny because my take on it was, one day, maybe when we retire, one day, the next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call going, hey, let's go to Florida. We'll check something out real quick. Ding dong, here comes the big truck rolling in at the front in Colorado with car coming off, right? I can't say no, so I'm not really good at that when it comes to cars.
Ford sold the rights to the GT40 many, many years ago, and the Saphir Spares bought the rights. They have the right to the GT40 name. So they have a lot of the same parts, the same design parts. I think it's upwards of 80% of that car is still interchangeable with the originals from back in the 60s. So because they have the rights, and because so many of the parts are similar in the car, they're allowed to continue the serial numbers in the GT40 registry, the Saphir GT40 registry and the Shelby GT40 registry. The car originally had, from what we've tracked back a little, the original owner had a Shelby FE engine in there, which we wish was in the car, but it's not now. It's a Roush block that Holman Moody reworked. It's got the Borla 8 stack on it, so it's a departure obviously from the conventional naturally, well, it's still naturally aspirated, but it's fuel injected on this side. Holman Moody changed the cam in it. It runs about 600 horsepower. It's got well over 550 or so foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. The torque comes in very, very early, about 2,500 RPM in the car. So it's got a lot of get up and go. Yeah. The car weighs 2,400 pounds.
I personally like driving it because it's old school. It's beefy, it's a beast, and personally I don't see enough women getting out of cars that look like that. So I feel empowered to be able to get out of that car as a woman because I still see people turn their heads like, wait, you're driving that? And most of the time if we're together, they'll ask him if it's his. Well, what's his is mine, so that, you know, obviously I'm going to speak up. But for me, it handles really, really great. My dad was racing when I was a kid, so it's memories that come back for me to go fast and to have that, like I said, old school working piece, and it's just crazy. I love it.
Her father used to race back at San Bernardino and Riverside back in the 70s, and the guys from Holman Moody used to help him work on his Torino. It was a Ford Cobra, looked kind of like a Torino Cobra. Yeah. As your question earlier about how did we come to get the car, in a sense, it was just a fluke phone call one day. I called Alan Peterson and said, hey, how does somebody get one of your cars? With the thought of, well, you know, when we retire in 30 years from now, and how do you do all this?
Retire.
Right, and I told him the car I liked, and he said, well, unfortunately that one is sold, but he said, this is how you do it. And he said, but by the way, the big brother, which is P2183 that we have, is sitting in the Champion Porsche Museum down in Fort Lauderdale. So he said, if you would like that one, it's still available. So the car is like the right car at the right time, and you know, they say sometimes cars pick their owners just like owners pick their cars. To have a car that Holman Moody has played a tremendous part in the car, that goes back to, you know, in a sense, to her father racing with Holman Moody back in the day, is very important to us. We want to carry his legacy on, and it's pretty special that his daughter is driving a car that Holman Moody has worked on just as he did back in the day.
I remember when his Cobra needed work and he was in California, and even, you know, as he got older, he'd always say, oh yeah, Holman Moody worked on my Cobra. After that, she'd go fast. Like his eyes would get really big. So they did some good work, evidently.
No, it's pretty much as it is. It's busy enough to keep up with. I'm sure you're probably going to ask about parts or anything like working on the car. It's not an easy car to work on. It's easy, in fact, that the engine is right there. But when you need a part, you know, something for a ZF transaxle, you got to go to RBT Transmissions in Irvine, California, somebody that can work on these. You can't just really go down to the local auto parts store and find the part right off that.
And that's something too. We work on our cars. Anything that we can do ourselves, we do ourselves. And again, with my father, I was very little learning my tools. And as an only child, so mom would take me to dance classes and dress me up in those little pink tutus, and dad would take me and put me under the car. So I'm very proud that my husband is the same, you know, hands-on.
At least a year.
Yeah.
When it came off the trailer, the truck in front of the house, didn't want to start. Finally got it started. And then when I took it to the DMV here in Thornton, I couldn't get it started because the pickup and the distributor was going bad. And it was a lot of chasing of different things. And the hard part on the engine is it's so close to the firewall of the car. To get to work, say, to change something on the distributor, the whole fuel injection system or the whole 8-stack system has to come off the top of the car. So even an adjustment of the timing, you have to pull the firewall from behind you. For example, like Lee did, they took a really long stick with a noose on it because they couldn't have somebody in the car pushing the accelerator with the pulleys, everything. So a long stick with a noose, they were able to stand out of the car, rev it while somebody set the timing. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
We took it to Shelby, yes. We took it to Shelby this last February because we wanted to take it last year for the Shelby Bash in Las Vegas. COVID shut that down, so we finally stuck it in the trailer from Lee and hauled it out to Vegas for a few days. And
Surprised his mom.
Yeah, Vince Laviolette from Shelby took it out on the track with us, courtesy of the guys from Speed Vegas.
Yeah. So it's been on Speed Vegas a lot that day. Vince had a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun being passengers.
Right.
So he really opened it up, and it was really great. Yeah. It's very different when you have somebody who's a professional get behind the wheel and open it up, right? I think we're a little more cautious. Right. We do a lot of car shows.
Actually, you have. I haven't. This is the first time I've driven the car since June because I haven't been home, but she's been. Right, right.
Yeah, it's very nice to see him.
She's been driving the car and going to the car shows. So.
Yep, we do a lot of car shows. Most of the car shows we do are things that entail raising funds for children events, whether it's Children's Hospital, Take Jake. The Shelby family and the Shelby Foundation works really well for us because that's exactly what they do. They raise funds for a variety of children's events, right? Whether it's for medical or otherwise. And that's kind of what we do on a much lower scale is we go to these events and, you know, if a kid comes up and wants to get in the car, absolutely, we're going to open that car up and let them get inside and take pictures, and you know, they just get so excited. I think one of the funniest times we just went to Estes for lunch. So we went cruising, took a couple cars out, parked, and this little boy comes up and he's like oohing and awing. And it was a super little kid. So of course, you know, I walked over there and I said, "Do you want to get inside?" And the parents were just as shocked. He gets in there, I closed the door, and he's going like this, and his mom goes, "Is he making car sounds?" And I go, "Oh yeah, he's making car sounds." But they get so excited, and that in itself for us is really, really great. The only other organization that I do a lot of stuff with is FDH, which is Feeding Denver's Homeless, or Hungry. Both kind of go hand in hand. And they had an event, and we drove over and brought gifts, as many gifts as we could shove in, right? We'll always do something that has to do with children, obviously.
And we also talk with Darren and Aaron down at the Vehicle Vault in Denver.
Yep.
For the next time they have a Make-A-Wish Foundation, anything like that. If somebody wants a ride in the car, we'll certainly do it.
Absolutely.
But COVID
we'll
has had everything shut down with those kind of things. So.
I think that what we forget sometimes is when we do things with the children, it's pretty obvious, right? How excited the kids get. And I think that we're so busy doing things online with media and everything's so fast paced that actually being with the cars slows everything down. The car might be moving fast, but you have to pay attention not just to what you're doing, but everybody around you. And one of the things I enjoy with the children is that child's gonna look at that car and go, maybe one day, like we did, right? And I don't think we have enough of that around anymore because the one day is so fast and it's all online. So I encourage people, you don't have to have an expensive car, but to just take time out, and if you have kids or nephew or whatever, you know, take them to the car and talk about the car. I don't think any woman or young girl should have a car and not know how to change the oil or change her tire. Cell phones do die sometimes and you're stuck. So I think we just kind of need to slow down, even if we're going fast inside of a car. It sounds kind of funny, but that's what I feel. I mean, we've truly bonded with our children throughout the years, and even more now. They're adults, you know, and we still get together and we still work on the cars and they work on their cars, and it's a timeout.
And everything we do on these, especially the Cobra, has an old Cleveland in it and an old Holley 4-barrel. I bought some new fuel gaskets a few years ago and rolled it out in the driveway and turned it on, and was dumping gas out of the exhaust pipes of the Cobra, and I called Holley, and the guy at Holley said, "Oh, you have one of the really old 4-barrels." So our boys have done all the work I've done on the cars, they've done with us. So they know how to set the timing on a Holley, and they know how to change a valve seal on a car, and change an accelerator pump, and you know, a transmission output seal, those kind of things. And that's a lost art that's going to, you know, happen. The cars are turning into dinosaurs. Yeah. But it's time with your kids without the phone ringing, you know.
And even just
and learning you
family.
can do it. Even though something may appear daunting, it's not,
right.
You know, so for the most part.
For the most part.
When it is, I call Lee. So.
When I was younger, I would have called my dad.
Yeah. No, thank you all very much. Thank you for taking an interest in the car. Anybody out there who sees this video, if you see us, stop by and say hi. If you're at a gas station, jump in the car and have, you know, look at it, ask questions about it. It's not too often, you get to see, you know, a truly a 1966 version here, or our version out there. So.
We even started its own Facebook page because we noticed that people were posting, and we go, "Hey, I think that's our car over on this web thing or whatever." So we started a Facebook page, and we encourage people to go, and it's a, what is it? GT40.
Number 7, P2183.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, stop by and say hi. And
because we want to see the videos that people make too.
Right.
You know, we've been surprised at what we've seen going down the highway.
Fortunately, it was between the lanes. It was doing the speed limit.
Get back in your cars. Stop hanging out the window.
So thank you guys for taking an interest in the car, and thank you for taking an interest in us with this.
Yeah,
we hope it was worth your time today, and that it brings the movies into some realm of reality. So what those guys did back in the day. So our thanks to you.
Thank you.